Good morning and a very warm welcome to another Power to Predict live stream. I'm happy that you joined with so many of you for today's live stream. It's October, which means, we are almost going to the end of the year, which means lots of things have happened, and that's exactly what we want to talk about today. Today, the title is Intelligence That Adapts. We will come to that in a couple of minutes. So first of all, before we go there, let's look at some logistics. For the ones that already joined earlier, you know the drill. It's actually quite easy. You can ask questions during the whole live stream. You can do that via the chat box that you have in front of you if you're using a desktop or a laptop, or you scan the QR code, and you can also do it via your mobile phone. The questions will be answered during the live stream, but we also have a dedicated section at the end of the live stream. If your live stream is stopping, then make sure that you refresh, and also, that's at least preferred, use Google Chrome, because then you have the best experiences. And in case you don't want to follow us in English, we also have the possibility to go to the settings and choose the language, either Spanish, French, or German, for your convenience. I think that's about it. So let's start. As said, it's October, so that means that lots of things have happened. We have made enhancements to our portfolio. We have introduced new technologies, all kinds of stuff. And that's also exactly why I already have, but I will come to you, to the gentleman, in a minute. I have two guests here on the stage that will help me go through our latest innovations. But what is important, and that is also a little bit shown on the next slide, all the advancements and new technologies that we are talking about are following four main principles. First of all, you need to have the right quality. It needs to be simple, because let's focus on the outcome. Let's not focus on the complexity of the technology. We need to make sure that you have a trusted solution, which of course goes in the direction of cybersecurity. And you probably already have heard it multiple times. We want to give you foresight in that sense, that we are moving from reactive to proactive video security, meaning that we want to prevent things from happening at a certain point in time. And we call it also, that's maybe more now known to you, Power to Predict. We are not without reason calling these the Power to Predict live streams. So if I talk about what happened until now and what we are going to talk about today, I can give a little bit of keywords, or at least a little bit give it away. Gen AI. Gen AI to make your life easier, to make it simpler. And Dima and Vijay, you will be talking about that later. But also how we can see the unseen. See the unseen, that sounds interesting. Yeah, see the unseen, and also there, stay tuned. We will let you know what that means. We will talk about dual vision, and that will come, and also about facelifts. And then we are not talking about personal facelifts, so we are talking about the facelifts of our product. So that's all. So that's a little bit of the introduction, the four pillars. And now let's go to the most important part of this live stream. Dima, very warm welcome. Vijay, very warm welcome.
Thank you.
For the audience, I have Dima here, which is our Director of Global Product Marketing, or Product Management, I must say. Let's be correct there. So actually, you are standing next to your babies. And Vijay, you are the head of product marketing. So let's make now not the mistake, for our EMEA region. Welcome both.
Thank you. Thank you. And good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. So I will shut up now. No, I will ask the first question, of course. Dima, let's start with the facelift. Not your personal facelift, but I want to talk about, let's say, the somewhat bigger camera on the table here, nice and shiny. What about this facelift? I have been told, and that's also what you see behind us, or at least maybe you are aware of it. It's the Autodome 7100. We have introduced it, I believe, 2 years ago, roughly. And it's a very popular camera. So Dima, tell me, why is this camera so popular?
Exactly. So like you mentioned, this one is a very well-established product. Yeah, it's already a couple of years on the market. You see that in various applications, from perimeter security to traffic monitoring. So anytime you want to monitor a large, wide area and be able to zoom in, and see what you want to see, that's a great product. But of course, today we speak about what is new, right?
The facelift.
The facelift. What is new is the platform upgrade. Yeah, that's the first camera which introduces the new platform for us. Yeah, we call this platform CPP16, Common Product Platform 16, and that brings to the table multiple innovations and improvements. Yeah, the first one, and maybe the biggest one, is the AI analytics, right? which is future-proof and even Gen AI capable, but this we will discuss
In another live stream?
in another live stream. Yeah, we will not yet go there. It also offers a next level of cybersecurity. Yeah, so and of course it adds to the streaming performance of the camera, which is also very important. So these are the three key areas which improve.
And talk, because you're saying, okay, so the main facelift that happened is actually inside. So we have put a new platform in there. It's also my understanding that that's also our philosophy. That's also where our quality and also simplicity is actually built on. Because can you maybe tell a little bit on that we are typically sharing platforms between cameras, and what are the advantages of customers in the sense of making things simpler?
Yeah, it helps the integration, right? So once you integrate the platform, then you have integrated more or less all the cameras running the same platform. It helps the, from the firmware updates and keeping your cameras up to date. So there are a lot of benefits of this common platform, not only for us as a manufacturer, but also for you, for our customers to, yeah.
And basically our strategy is that as many as possible
We'll share the platform.
We'll share the platform.
Correct.
So you said it, CPP16. So you basically now set here the stage. CPP16, what does that mean for this camera exactly?
Yeah. So let me give you a few concrete examples. From the analytics point of view, this camera comes out of the box already with three capabilities, right? You have the building security, you have perimeter security, and you have the privacy. Yeah. So the camera allows you to blur the private relevant parts, right? And in addition, depending on the use case, depends on your application, you can choose what kind of analytics you need. Yeah, it starts with the traffic, or it can also be the let's say the PPE or the attributes. Yeah, you name it, up to visual gun detection. So you then have a flexibility to add with extra license all these other capabilities. That's analytics.
Yeah.
When we speak about
and maybe in between, because those are your babies, so I understand that
Yes.
you go through it like a high-speed train. But to make because 2 years ago we introduced it, but it already came with analytics. So it's not that we have introduced a camera without analytics. But what I believe I hear you say is that now, and that's also nicely tying into the title of the live stream, it's more a flexible, adaptable product now, because I hear you say we now went from analytics to IVA Pro in that sense.
Correct.
And the IVA Pro distinguishes multiple licenses, so that's where the flexibility comes from, because you said PPE, so protective equipment.
Yes.
For the ones that are not familiar with, but that is what you're saying here. So that's so analytics was there, but it's the next level of analytics, but also a more flexible, easier adaptable to the application.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
And then of course you said it, the whole cybersecurity that also went up a notch, because on the one hand side, I believe better encryption compared to maybe the first version.
Yeah, it provides the, let's say, 4K key length. Yeah, so your encryption becomes a lot more strong. And it's definitely a good protection against brute force attacks. Yeah, so your payload is then much more secure. And also, thanks to other improvements, we are also now FIPS compliant, FIPS 140-3. That's a US standard, but that's also recognized worldwide. Yeah, and with that compliance, basically this camera can be used in I would say, cyber-critical environments where this is very important.
And also there, to highlight that again, also coming back to the platform strategy, you are now saying this is now the first camera that got the facelift, and also now has the joy of enjoying the CPP16 platform. But am I correct when I'm stating every single camera that will be CPP16 will also then live up to this FIPS 3?
Yes, that's a platform feature, and so any camera with that platform will also be compliant. Yes.
So I already said it, it's nice and shiny. It's facelift. The facelift is inside, so the appearance is still the same. Vijay, as head of our product marketing for EMEA, where do you see this camera? What are the typical applications?
Well, this camera ideally fits in environments where the focus is on analytics and privacy. For example, in public spaces, transportation hubs, traffic monitoring with the IVA Pro traffic. So this camera has the IVA Pro privacy, which supports GDPR compliance. What it means is you can mask individuals and vehicles if required, especially in public spaces, because we see those requirements coming up more and more from authorities where they want to have some kind of compliance. But at the same time, you can still use the analytics, so the data still comes in. The other feature of intelligent tracking, it still works even with the IVA Pro privacy enabled.
Yeah, so then basically, depending on who operates the system and also on his authority level, it can be that he is actually looking at, I would then translate it into a blurry picture,
Yeah.
but that doesn't impact the whole functioning of the system, because you will still get the relevant data, the camera keeps on tracking, and you will get all the metadata that you need in order to take informed decisions.
Yes, absolutely. And to add to that, then the camera, like Dima mentioned, has other analytics features. One of them is the IVA Pro traffic. So what it helps you is to kind of understand, so the operator can get this metadata and he can take informed decisions if there is a traffic congestion or there is a crowd flow which is exceeding a certain limit, and thereby helping him to take predictive decisions as well, right?
And going back to the pillars, it is already a camera that's relatively popular, that we already said, or it is a popular camera, and that we have already seen in the first 2 years of its existence. So I think the quality is for that matter, proven. But we also talked about simplicity, and I want to link actually the simplicity to the analytics, because often we have those conversations about analytics that they say, yeah, okay, but it is so complicated. Also going back to, indeed, technology can advance, but at the same time, you could also say the level of complexity is increasing. So is there anything specific to say with regards to analytics and configuration and how we made things simpler?
Yeah, there is an addition of the auto calibration. That's something that we also want to show in another product, so I will not explain it now, but we will look into that. So that part is there, where we make it much more easier from a calibration point of view for the analytics, because that's the key point for your false alarms, to reduce the number of false alarms. Yeah.
Okay, we will. I will keep you to your promise, so we will discuss it. But at least what we are saying, also that box is covered. So yes, the capabilities are increasing. We have more flexibility with the intelligence, but we are also taking care of the fact that the complexity is not hindering the user, because also that we made simple. But we will come to that with the next one. So if you would now, in a nutshell, summarize the key characteristics of the Autodome, the facelift Autodome. Yeah, it's not reflected in its name, but at least the next version.
The first one, like Dima mentioned, is the CPP 16 upgrade. What it brings is the enhanced streaming and image quality and all the features that from a cybersecurity point of view. So that's another key factor for us, which is the cybersecurity and data security, because now it has the 4K key length. It has the FIPS level 3 certification. It also has the IEC 62443-4-2. That's another one.
Yeah.
But all of this,
we will put it in the summary, because this went a little bit fast. Yes.
Yeah, but all of these helps. The most important part is all of this together helps to achieve the NIS2 certification as well from a system point of view.
So because that is also getting more and more
popular
governments that are actually. It's maybe not necessarily related to our video security industry, but
we help
exactly
them to achieve that for the whole system. So that's also a key thing. Then
to also make clear, the UL and the IEC, for the ones that are maybe less familiar with it, those are official standards, and it is also something that you need to be accredited for. It's not that we make up ourselves. It is an external body that basically decides if you are living up to those rules and regulations or not.
Yes, absolutely right. And the third point, which I would say, is the next generation AI as well.
Yes.
Because it, like you rightly mentioned, with the facelift, we have additional analytics that can be supported, like the PPE and the appearance. So all of these features also we build into the camera. So these would be the three main key takeaways for the product.
Okay. And for the ones watching the live stream, don't make notes for yourself, because we will make sure that, of course, afterwards you will also get these nice summaries. And as I said already before, if you have questions or if they are coming to mind, then let us know, because now we have the experts here on stage and they can answer your questions. So let's take it up a notch a little bit, because we have started with the biggest one in this case. So let's go to the next one. But before we do that, let's first of all Yeah, because I want to make it a little bit more complicated in the sense of what if we can't see, you know? So, but before we go there, let's have a quick look at a small video to introduce the next camera. Yeah, so See the Unseen, that was the last title that I saw in the video. And that's also exactly what we want to talk about. But I think before we go there, and Dima, I'm already looking at you, it's just on the market, the camera, I believe, a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
But the good thing is, and I'm already showing you an example here, it already won an award. So it was already awarded. So that says something. So why did we get that award, and what is so special about this camera? What makes the difference?
Yeah. So of course, it's always good to get a reassurance that not only we believe that this is a great camera, but it's also confirmed by independent parties, right? This camera is our latest and greatest, I would say, thermal camera. It's for us, it's a third generation, so we have already a lot of experience with security thermal cameras. And we learned from that, I think we roughly have them for a decade or more, right? And that's the latest and greatest generation. Usually these cameras, they are installed in very remote and hard to reach locations. And we kept that in mind, when we developed this camera. So that's why we wanted to make it, first of all, easy to install, and we will say a few words about that. From the technology point of view, that uses the uncooled microbolometer, a couple of technical terms here in the room, that allows us to keep the size small, right? And that pairs basically the thermal technology, which means the camera, like you said, see the unseen. The camera can see the IR radiation from the objects. It doesn't need any kind of external illumination, right?
Because that's an important point, because typically what maybe people, and of course we have a very experienced audience, I'm having no doubt, but normally a camera, an optical camera and analytics, if the camera can't see, also the analytics will not function in that sense. So, and in the thermal situation, there you have the solution where you could overcome these challenges.
Correct. So, and then we paired this thermal technology with our experience in analytics, right? So we a little bit fine-tuned and optimized the analytics exactly for the thermal imaging. And with that, we can achieve significant performance, because this camera is often used on a perimeter security, right? And there the idea is to be able to see as far as you can and reliably detect intruders, including, we call them professional or advanced intruders, those who crawl or who roll, not just who walk straight. And then we are able to detect, if I'm not mistaken, as far as 586 meters. We can detect a human with let's say, with one of the lens variants of this camera. So I would say that's a fantastic addition to our portfolio. And
as a customer, why would I be so interested in 586, as you say, 586 meters?
When you are in for example, border security, or you want to really protect a very, very large perimeter, you would like to have as least as possible cameras and to be able to see very far, right? So that camera gives you that advantage. I think my colleague Vijay will say a few words about some concrete examples, right, where this camera is used.
Because you also have some experiences from the field
yes.
that's already working.
But that was our priority, and also with the as less as possible false alarms, right? Because we know that false alarms, they create nuisance and we don't want that. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the more false alerts or let's say unwanted alerts that you would get as an operator, yeah, only makes you busy. And yeah, at the end of the day, the word already says it's not relevant. So basically, Dima, it's nice that you say 586 and professional intruders, but yeah, let's also show some proof. And I believe we recently have done a recording, which we want to share. And let's see if that is also working. So you maybe can explain a little bit what we are seeing here.
Yeah, so you can see exactly the very long distance, and you can see that camera is able to classify very, very accurately, right? That there are two persons moving, and they are exactly at that long distance, right? And then they are being detected. They are being reliably tracked. That's very important. You know that this green line is uninterrupted. That means that the camera is continuously tracking and not losing the object. And then as soon as the object is entering the restricted area, there will be an alarm triggered. Yeah. And on this video, you see a truck on the right-hand side, which is also correctly classified. And you see an advanced or professional intruder who is trying to, to crawl towards the fence. And then he's being immediately detected. Yeah, so that's what you see.
And you were emphasizing the classification. Is that something that is now new in the camera compared to previous versions, or?
In a sense of analytics, yes, that this now works also reliable because we paired some traditional, let's say, background subtraction technologies with AI, and now we can also, in a very reliable way, classify.
Because you also said something else, because this is not necessarily a given. So I believe I heard you say, yes, it has IVA Pro parameter, which is also true for a couple of other cameras in the portfolio. But here you said, I believe this is also specifically tuned or developed for the thermal camera. So it would almost be the IVA Pro parameter thermal.
Yes.
Okay. And that is also what makes the camera reach this 586 and also detecting the professional intruders, as you call them.
Yep.
So Vijay, yeah, quite impressive if I look at it, but that's my opinion, and maybe I'm a little bit biased in that sense, but where do I see the applications?
The key application for this product is in critical infrastructure sites, energy sites, or any particular location where they are trying to detect long distances, perimeter protection.
Yeah.
So one of the use cases that we see quite often is border security as well. So I would say these would be the main use cases because, like Dima mentioned, it's about detection and accurate detection at long distances. So
yeah,
you can think about any long perimeter where you really want to reduce the number of cameras but still have good accurate detection.
Yeah, and border control nowadays is of course an let's say hot topic for usual or let's say known reasons. Auto calibration. I saw something in the video, auto calibration, and I also see a question come in from the audience. So can you a little bit, and I'm looking at the two of you, so maybe you can take the question both or you decide, but can you a little bit say more about auto calibration in combination with the thermal camera?
Yeah, so I want to take a small step back and also explain that, of course, both is important hardware-wise, that you can install the camera physically, and especially when you are in such an environment, when you want to see far away, then also the tilt angle of the camera is very important. So with the, let's say we reused our hardware design from our bullet cameras with a very easy to use swivel here. So you can also, in a very precise way, mechanically position the camera.
Yes.
That's already a first improvement, which is already important, right? Like I said, cameras are used sometimes in areas where to get with a helicopter or so, and spend as little time as possible. But then, of course, what you have also seen, I guess, in the video, the three-step calibration. So calibration is important when you want to detect reliably and classify precisely over such long distances. Yeah,
because that is important to emphasize, because what sometimes we let the industry, or not we, but the industry is led in the belief that calibration not needed. Out of the box will always function. But that's where you clearly make the distinction. Maybe in some cases it will work, but if you talk about this more critical situations, you need to calibrate in order to get to these results. But it doesn't mean that it needs to be complicated.
Exactly, and that's what we made easier, right? Or easy. That this works now automatically. So we're leveraging AI. AI would recognize certain objects in the scene. Yeah, so there needs to be a human, for example, or a vehicle in the field of view. And then AI already knows roughly what is the size, and then it can understand the perspective, and the camera calibrates itself if you want. Yeah, so it is hassle-free, working very fast and smooth. And I guess that's also very, very important for this type of camera to show this performance, right?
And then you were already going in the direction of the housing, or at least that we changed the design. There is also a question coming in with regards to the weather conditions, because indeed we state in the video all types of all weather conditions. But can you be more specific if you look at fog, etc., and things that are basically obscuring at the end of the day the view of the camera? Are there different classifications of fog? Can we say something about until when can we still detect, or are there certain limitations?
As such, we don't classify those kind of limitations in terms of fog. But what we can clearly say is that it detects at quite a long distances with accuracy. Yeah.
So basically, also there you have radiation. So also there you say that also in foggy environments, the detection should be also reliable.
Yes, camera will see better than the human for sure, right? But of course, physics is physics. Yeah, and if the fog is so heavy that the radiation doesn't reach the sensor, then it doesn't reach the sensor, right? Yeah. So there's also no magic here. But I think it's a very sensitive, very advanced sensor, and it would see much better than with other sensors. Yeah.
Another interesting question, and again, I'm looking at the both of you because that also feels like people are getting enthusiastic about the two cameras that we have here on the table. So can these two cameras, meaning the Outerdome 7100 and also the thermal, can they work together to maybe even fortify or elevate your parameter security?
That could clearly be an application where you have detection from one particular, or let's say the thermal camera, and that triggers a preset position for the PTZ to look in that particular, in the same direction, right? So it's a combination that we can work with. It depends on what kind of solution the customer is using. Is it through a VMS or is it through scripting? Yeah. There are multiple options that you can look at.
But basically what you're saying, the cameras can work together in such a way that if in this case, of course, the thermal would then be leading. So if the thermal detects something, you can basically send the Outerdome in that there where you want to have it at that point in time.
Yes.
Clear. As I said, people are getting enthusiastic. So another one. Is it possible to have a PTZ camera? Example, MIG Fusion. Hey, it's funny that we already... So the audience is knowledgeable about our portfolio. To track the intrusion object using geolocation and not by auto track. So I believe that here, can we base ourselves on the geo position instead of auto tracking function?
That is a possibility. Yeah, there needs to be some scripting efforts to make it happen, because our moving cameras, they do support absolute coordinates. You can do that, but there needs to be some additional, let's say, scripting done.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
but that is a possibility.
But a possibility. Yeah. They do not really stop, so they don't let you go with regards to the calibration. And I think you more or less said it, but the question is here: can the calibration be done by only one person, and then it will work? So can one guy, in this case, or woman, of course, do the configuration, this auto calibration? And I believe the answer is yes. And I also believe, and if you're interested, we can also, of course, share that. I believe that one of your colleagues, Dima Boudewijn, has already demonstrated that once here on the stage, and there he was all alone, because as a matter of fact, I do remember that we all had to clear the stage at that point in time. People are getting interested. But let's also move on a little bit in that sense, because I still see something there on a rock. So I'm pretty curious to see what's under there. Yeah, and you know, I'm not sure if I'm having dual vision now or not. But anyways, Vijay or Dima, whomever. If you have to summarize the thermal, what are the 3 main takeaways?
For me, the first most important one is the detection distance or the detection range, because this is a camera which is looking towards how accurately you can detect at long distances. So with close to 586 or 600 meters, that's the detection range. But what it also does is it gives you a wider field of view. So compared to our previous generation of cameras, the field of view is also wider. So there is more scope, I would say, there. Yeah. Secondly, the IVA Pro perimeter and the minimum amount of false alarms with the like you rightly mentioned, the IVA Pro perimeter thermal. That's a nice way to put it. That really reduces the number of false alarms, and that's key for such applications. And the third one would be the design, the rugged design, and I would bring it down to these 3.
But also there is a similarity because I heard ease of installation with the Autodome. I hear ease of installation here with the thermal camera. So that's also something that again goes into one of our design pillars, simplicity or making it simpler, because I believe installation is being done in simple 3 steps. And I believe also both cameras are compatible with our modular accessories, as we call it. So also there we make life easier.
Yeah.
You said it, reliable alerts, and I also do remember another question that I just saw on the screen, is that because we have viewers that are very precisely looking at the videos that we are showing, which is good. Because, and I'm looking at you, Dima, a critical question in this case, because if you carefully watch the video, you see someone crawling, but then just before he enters the alarm zone, he is standing up. So people are saying, so is that... did he also have...
I also saw that.
Yeah. So you see that people are paying attention.
Yeah, that's good. Important message is that even while he was crawling, he was already detected and tracked.
Yeah.
Right. But the idea is that when he approached the restrictive area, he wanted to run, and that's difficult when you crawl, right? So the message is that while crawling, he was detected, but when he wanted to maybe intrude, he needs to stand up and attack.
But if he would be crawling the other way, then maybe it was just for fun and he has no intention to breach the parameter.
Exactly.
Okay. I hope that is a satisfying answer. So the conclusion, we detected the person crawling, and that's if you do not detect him in the first place, you are probably too late if you can't catch that, especially at those distances. Yeah, Vijay, then we come to another point, because it's great that we talk about cameras, we talk about the intelligence, etc. So we provide more and more data to our users, to you as a customer. But how can I now make good use of it? Because this data should go somewhere. Because otherwise, yeah, it's great to have technology, but if you don't tell me what's the outcome, then what can I do?
Yeah, and that's where a VMS comes into picture. And for us, it's BVMS. Yeah, that's I would say BVMS is more of a VMS which complements our hardware. Yeah, where customers are actually looking for an end-to-end, let's say, a single vendor solution. Then it fits perfectly.
And to interrupt you there, because you say if customers are looking for an end-to-end, so can I then also say, hey, and what if the customer is not looking for an end-to-end solution? Then
it's even then it's fine.
But then we seamlessly integrate with other VMSs.
We also integrate with other VMSs, be it Milestone, Genetec. We integrate with all of them. We provide the flexibility to look at what the customer really requires. And there are certain customers, especially if you look at government, enterprise customers, where they say, yeah, we want an end-to-end solution from one particular vendor.
Exactly.
Then
one-stop shop type of...
Exactly, that's the word. Then it fits perfectly in those kind of applications.
But also the flexibility actually nicely, again, ties into the title of today's live stream. It's intelligence that adapts. So you can make use of the intelligence that's in the camera. And we will also talk about the intelligence in our software, but at least the way you want it. So adapt it to your needs. And again, looking at to you both, because we also just released a new version of BVMS. But what makes BVMS, Vijay, if you're on the show or whatsoever, if you talk to customers, what makes BVMS so special?
I always talk about a couple of things. One of them is the resilience. this BVMS is designed for continuous operation. Yeah,
So ideal for critical.
critical applications. What it does, even if so it continuously records, the cameras are continuously recording, even if there are any simultaneous hardware failures. So the key features such as live viewing and playback doesn't stop if the hardware fails, and that comes from the VRM technology that we have. So customers like that, and that's one of the key factors that we have from a resilience point of view. It is quite a secure software because it also supports all the different, let's say, the cybersecurity topics that we discussed earlier.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's a scalable architecture. So if there is a customer, an enterprise customer with multi-site, then it fits perfectly
Yeah.
in those applications as well. So I would
So
say
resilience,
secure,
cybersecurity,
scalable.
flexibility
Yeah.
/ scalability. Dima, I heard something about 13.0. So
Let me say a few words to it. So we have released, I think somewhere in summer, yeah, we released our BMS 13.0. That was our major release. And of course, there are multiple features which we introduced. Yeah, but I want to focus on a few, right, which are very important to mention. Our goal was to make the work of the security operator as efficient as possible, right? To give him the aid, to give him the tools he needs. What do I mean concretely by that? Yeah, we now introduced the map-based tracking. So, and that works across multiple cameras. So in the intelligence, which is in the camera, the metadata, which provides the right information, including geolocation, where the object is, yeah, and we can distinguish, is it a vehicle, is it a person? And then we can visualize on the map across multiple cameras what is going on, right? And that for security guard, instead of just looking at many camera windows, right? Or we call them cameos and BVMS. That's much easier that in a single pane of glass, you get a good understanding what is really happening in his premises. Are people forming the crowd? Or are too many people going in unusual direction? Or are there vehicles where there should be no vehicles? You name it, right? So we want to empower
you floor plan, which basically shows your premise, but also its surroundings, and you see exactly where certain objects, if it would be a person or another object, where they are and in which directions they are moving.
Exactly. That's what we wanted to achieve, and we have now introduced that, yeah, and we see a very good response to this functionality. Yeah.
And you mentioned briefly geolocation. Is that a necessity, or is that something that makes it actually even, I don't know, even more robust? Or
that is exactly what you want to have if you want to show that, let's say, that small symbol, on the map accurately, because that's what we use to show that on the map in an accurate way where the objects are and where are they heading to.
Yeah, so there are multiple ways to put objects on a map, but what you're saying is that, but if you have the geolocation, you could be even more precise.
Correct. And we have it already in all these cameras, so we of course wanted to leverage that.
Exactly. You're making use of what we have.
Yeah.
What else, if I'm talking about 13.0?
Yeah, so we also a little bit improved the alarm management, in terms of we received feedback from certain customers that sometimes they want to mute certain alarms, and now we provide that functionality on the fly. And moreover, right, now as soon as you're using an appliance, we call it DVAR IP, right, where BVMS is running.
Yeah, recording solution.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
If you hook this up to the cloud, then you can also remotely on your smartphone or on a tablet, you can receive the alarms or push notifications, which is very handy, right? If the security guard is on a tour, and even if he's even not on site, he can still receive the relevant events. Yeah, so it's all again about giving the right support and flexibility to the people who work with the system.
So basically what you're saying is that you are to a certain degree even further streamlining operations. So on the one hand side, people have have actually the filter mechanism or the filter possibility to filter out or maybe then suppress certain alerts, because at that point in time, maybe it can be less relevant. It's not saying that you get an irrelevant alert, but maybe at that point in time, you don't know what happened.
You don't want to see it at that
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah, the same as with your smartwatches and telephones. Sometimes you still want to have the message, but you don't want to have the sounds constantly, or basically that you are being distracted. And the second one that you say, you are not always stationary. You're not sitting in one place. So if you're mobile, then also with the announcements that we now have made, you can be alerted when you are on the way.
Yes.
But I believe there's something coming. So what's next?
Exactly. So now I think we are now going to the products which are not yet on the market, but are coming very, very soon.
Yes, and we made a promise at the beginning that, hey, Gen AI will, we say something about Gen AI, and in this case, how it makes the life of you as a user more easy. So
Yes, we normally we release our VMS twice. Yeah, so there are 2 releases in a year. One is already done. Yeah, we just spoke about it, and another one is coming, VMS 13.1, roughly in December timeframe. We will release that.
a Christmas present.
Yes, and there are, of course, again, several features, but I want to focus on one, which in my view also goes in the direction of improving, enhancing the operations, right, and helping the security guard to do his work even faster. That's the free text search. Yeah, that's the feature which is coming up. That's powered by generative AI, and basically what it does, it allows you in a very, very simple way, the same way like you daily search in the internet, right? When you want to Google something, you just type in what you're looking for and you get the relevant information. We wanted to offer the same in the VMS, right? That the security operator can do exactly the same. When he wants to search through the recordings, he types in what he's looking for, and then he will very quickly find it. And there will be no need to, sort of configure it. It works very simple, and it's leveraging generative AI. It works with existing Bosch cameras, so you do not need to use this feature. Yeah, exchange your cameras. That's not required. And also, it does not require any kind of cloud support in the sense that this generative AI would run on-prem, so you can continue to use your on-prem architecture.
Yeah, so basically it's embedded in the software
Yes.
if you have already chosen to do so. Of course, the only thing what you need to do is upgrade to the 13.1.
Yeah, that's required.
Yeah, okay,
Absolutely.
but that's great. But I think that I can imagine that free text search, what does it mean? How does it make life easier? So I believe you have also brought a small example, which was, I believe, shot somewhere yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, few days ago.
Exactly. So bear with us. Maybe it's not the most beautiful video, but hey, it's a proof video, so it doesn't need to be nice and shiny. And
It shows what it does, right?
Exactly. So I will give you the stage so you can tell us what we see.
So what you see the typical user interface of BVMS, and then you just go in the search, you type in person in black jacket, if I read this right, yeah, and then in no time
That's small. Yeah.
you see the already 3 hits, right, with the thumbnails, and you see then the person, in this room where we are testing also our BVMS with many cameras. So immediately you see the hits, right? That works instantly, very quickly. That's using let's say the processing power of the workstation itself,
Yeah.
right? You would need a little bit of horsepower on the workstation, but then you can use this. Yeah.
And because I can imagine we have been speaking about BVMS already more than once. Forensic search or searches are already something that came with BVMS. But what's now the fundamental difference? Because also in the past we could search, and we have always said, you have filter mechanisms, etc., to easily find to sift through information that the system is collecting. What's now the biggest advantage here? What's now the biggest win?
I see 2 wins. One, this doesn't require any training. We all can do that, right? Type in what you're looking
Because
for.
you use your natural language and simply type what
Yes.
you're looking for.
Secondly, you are getting the whole, spectrum of things you want to look for. You are not limited with, okay, I want to draw here a line and I want to choose from the predefined parameters. You just type in what you're looking for, right? And then you can find it. That's I think the biggest win, that you can maybe sometimes look for. You have maybe a situation which is not very common, but you still can find it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can also by using normal words, you can maybe if you're maybe not even sure of what you exactly want to find, that maybe also with some words, it's easier than applying the standard or more standard filters that we had in
Correct.
the past.
And I think the customer, one more thing is the customer need not change his existing cameras, which is there in the site, right?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just give him an additional feature
Yeah.
on the existing infrastructure, which is
the only thing what you need are then cameras that deliver a certain degree of intelligence. So basically have analytics on board.
Yeah.
And in this case, I'm also thinking we are talking about Bosch cameras in this case.
yes.
Anything else to add? So that people now already should make the Christmas list and make sure that 13.1 is under the Christmas tree.
No, well, I think we are looking forward to get also some customer feedback, right? As soon as we release this in a few weeks, and then the adoption barrier is very low, right? You can rather quickly adopt this feature and start using it. So, we're looking forward to a feedback
Okay.
from our customers.
So and you said in December, we probably do not necessarily know the exact date, but once it's there,
Mid-December. We will not wait until the Christmas.
Okay, so
holidays,
it's already
right?
earlier. So
Yes.
once we are under the Christmas tree, you could already have first feedback from customers.
Yeah.
But you already said it. It's something. So the 13.1 is something that is there to come. So to summarize, the Autodome 7100's already available. So you can order today already the facelifted version. The thermal is already out there. BVMS 13 is already out there, already since summer, you said, and then 13.1 mid of December. So we are now indeed, what you already rightfully stated, Dima, we are talking about what is there to come. Another thing that is there to come, and I believe now we are slowly but gradually going to that nice black cloth that we see there on the table. Before we go there, we will also have a look again at another video. But before we go to the video, this time we went to nature. So actually, it's quite interesting, and there's also something that you will see in the video. In this case, our engineers, you could say, were inspired by nature, because sometimes nature is not. It's of course amazing us every single day. Sometimes in a good, sometimes in a bad way. But it can also indeed give you ideas of how to design smarter. And I think that's a nice cue to go to our video. So I made a mistake, but that's live television. So guys, before we talk about now, I already pulled the curtain almost, but we will look at this real looks in a second. But Vijay, before we start talking about this dual vision and the dual camera inspired by nature, maybe as a takeaway for the audience, the last bullet points for BVMS?
Yeah, it would be a mix of the enhanced situational awareness that we get with the object tracking that Dima mentioned. Also the alerting, we make it much more intelligent now with the different alarm suppressions that we have. So that gives you an added advantage. And the most important part is what I explained in the beginning, the resilience that the whole BVMS brings to for the customer. So yeah, these are the three main topics that I would say is the key for BVMS. Yeah?
And also here, you will get the summary at the end. And if there are questions, if you have feedback, then the offer stands. We are happy to receive them. I already gave it away. So Vijay, but we will stay with you. We have just seen, we briefly looked at a short commercial for the new camera that's upcoming. I believe it's planned for.
It's planned for the end of the year, early next year. We will have the product available.
So Christmas time, maybe 2026, but at least it's around the corner. It's all about dual vision.
Yeah.
So maybe Dima, you can do the honors and show how the product looks like in real life.
Exactly. So let's see what is here. And that's our new FlexiDome Dual 7100i.
It's actually funny. The more we are progressing, they're getting smaller. So that's an interesting perspective from my end here, but anyways, but maybe let's not be fooled by the size, because maybe it's smaller, but it's maybe small in size but great in performance. Vijay, what is so special about the dual imager in this case?
Just like how the image or how the video you saw, it has the dual imaging. That means you have a dual perspective of the image with a single camera. Yeah, so 2 lenses with a single camera. That adds, and just like the chameleon, you have you can look in different directions. You can decide to have one camera at a wide field of view, and the second camera may be zoomed in for a particular location. That for us is the main thing. And with less number of cameras, also from an installation perspective, it's much.
So again, actually, also the simpler effect.
Yeah.
But then, Dima, I'm okay. Now I'm going a little bit into critical mode, because let's be honest. Yes, it's a very new camera for us, but let's be honest, dual cameras are not new in the marketplace. What distinguishes this camera?
I would name 3 things. Yeah. Number one, that's the same platform, CPP16, we already explained earlier today when we talked about the Autodome. Yes. So that platform is powerful enough, and that gives enough performance to basically power 2 cameras. What that means is that you get flexible streaming on both, but also from the analytics point of view, you can decide what kind of analytics you need on each of the sensor, and you don't need to compromise on frame rate or resolution you process. So that is already a big win.
Because to be clear there, and also make sure that we are not missing out on anything, is that you're saying because it is powered by the CPP16 platform, you are not compromising, because would it be correct to state that sometimes you will see, because you simply have 2 imagers, 1 platform, so that you have to start compromising. So what you're here saying, this platform is powerful enough that it actually gives you the same performance as if you would be choosing 2 separate cameras, correct?
Yeah, like you would be choosing the 2 separate mini domes.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, so that's one. The second one is, of course, we know that this camera is often used in, let's say, governmental or even correction facilities. And there, the robustness of the camera, so it's aluminum, it's IK10, yeah. So that's also where we wanted to prioritize robustness. And the third one, I would say, because we know that this camera is often positioned in maybe in the corner environment or in a long corridors or so, we also really made sure that from the IR illumination, you have also a possibility with IR with this camera, that there is no blind spot, that IR is optimized for all kinds of different combinations. Going back to the eyes of chameleon, wherever you want to look, you also can set up your IR in that way that you don't have any, let's say, blind spots or overlit areas, which in my view is also an important.
So that is what you mean actually with optimized IR, so that you say sometimes also looking at the installation where we put the camera, maybe close to a wall or whatsoever, you have the flexibility again to tune your IR. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So to either avoid what you said, maybe 2 dark spots, so therefore a blind spot, or indeed
bright spots,
overexposed. Okay.
Yes.
Ruggedness. And then I can already draw the conclusion that CPP16, so from a cybersecurity point of view, we are okay or not?
Yes, absolutely.
And today's title is Flexibility That Adapts. What can you say specifically with regards to the analytics that we have on board in this camera?
I would say that we have the full range of IV Pro, as you already know it, that you can really use that on this camera. And also you can decide, like I a little bit mentioned earlier, what you want to use. So you can decide that in one sensor you use a certain IV Pro package, and even you can choose another one on the other sensor, which is, I would not say fully unique, but not a common combination you see on the market, right?
Yeah, but what is important, and then we are going back, if I understand it correctly at least, but then it's important to understand that you have full analytics performance on both imagers, no matter the choice you make. And so also there again, also on the analytics side, it's not that you are making any compromises. So it's not that you now out of a sudden have to expect a different level of performance, because yes, it's already difficult enough for a camera to already steer or manage 2 imagers. Vijay, anything to add from an application point of view? We already heard corrections, always. something that stands out for you?
Yeah, I would say that anywhere where you are looking for a robust coverage, that means around corners,
Yeah.
or where you have different kinds of scenes where you want to cover a wide area or a smaller area, that there, and when you want reliable performance. So these are the two things: robust coverage and reliable performance. And
And reliable performance with less
And-
installation time.
exactly.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, gentlemen, already thank you for those updates. But before we go to the next part, which is then the Q&A, a couple of summary points, and I leave it up to who wants to take the
Oh,
honor.
Vijay always wants to
Yeah,
summarize.
okay. So Vijay, then
Yeah.
you summarize.
Good. Again, 3 takeaways. The dual perspective, that is single device, 2 lenses. You decide how you want to use it. Yeah. Also, we provide that flexibility in the intelligence as well. What we want to communicate is that you get reliable IVA Pro performance on both the lenses. So, and we give you the flexibility to choose what you want to do with it. And third one is the secure, because of the CPP16 cybersecurity and ruggedness, because for applications such as a correction facility where ruggedness is important, this fits in those applications as well.
Thank you, Vijay. But guys, don't go anywhere because questions are coming in. So we will soon be answering those questions. And if we are running out of time, then of course the questions will be answered later on. To quickly summarize what we have been discussing today, and now you see the time is flying if you are here. The facelift. We started with the outer dome, and I think also we established the fact that it ticks all the pillars that we believe in and that we're also proud of. The quality aspect, it's already a proven product, simpler in that sense because the one-man installation, the 3-step installation, but also do not forget. I believe we did not mention it specifically, but the auto calibration, because that also goes for the outer dome. So that's also an important factor. Trust, you have been stressing that a lot because CPP16 is actually at the moment top notch when it comes to cybersecurity. And then Foresight, I think, that's a no-brainer because it has now also the latest analytics, which we call IVA Pro. I can say the same thing about, if you want to see, make the unseen seen or see the unseen, in that sense, the thermal camera. Same, I can tick the same boxes. The quality, because you said, Dima, we wanted to improve, so now it has the robustness of our other bullet cams, which even makes it more robust for the outdoor environments. Trust aspect is in there, the analytics are in there. As a matter of fact, analytics specifically designed for thermal imaging. So that's also a great step forward. BVMS, Vijay, you have been talking about its resilience, which we would say, that's the quality aspect. You can really rely on this product. It will work no matter what. We made it simpler because you gave some very nice examples of intelligent alarming, how it streamlines operations, etc. Dima, and also let's not forget the interactive map and the situational awareness. And Gen AI is now also taking its first steps there with the free text searches. It's up to the latest level with regards to security, and it supports our full analytic portfolio. And then, then out of a sudden we saw double. I see multiple cameras, to be honest, but the double, so in this case, the dual imager also ticks all those boxes. So as you can see, that's also a commonality in all our products and solutions that we are bringing. These are the 4 pillars you can count on. So guys, let's go to the questions in that sense. So the outer dome, let's start with the first one again, the facelift. Can the outer dome also detect and count while moving?
It can detect.
Oh my God, you were looking at me. I saw a little bit of a doubt.
I was posing the question.
Okay, but it's a affirmative yes. IVA Pro parameter, is that standard or only via a license? I think that's also a good question.
Yeah. So we always have different kinds of IVA Pro analytics.
Yes.
If you go into the details, then with the 5000s, you always get the 5100s, you always get the IVA Pro buildings as default. So that's inbuilt in the camera. When I go to the higher level of cameras, which is the 7100s or the 8100s, then you have the IVA Pro building and the IVA Pro perimeter.
So to make it simple for you, so everything above or equal to or above 7100 IVA Pro parameter standard, everything below that
is with the
without.
Behind the license.
Behind the license.
or indeed behind the license, maybe with 1 or 2 exceptions, but
Yes.
okay. Does the text search require any cloud processing, or is it solely on-prem? And I believe you already answered
solely
that
on-prem.
question, so it's only on-prem. Then, does the PTZ, I'm looking at you, I don't know why, but I'm looking at you. Does the PTZ require presets to go to a location, or can the thermal send the geolocation of the detection to the thermal? I believe that is also something that we already covered.
Yeah.
So the thermal can give the geolocation to the camera.
Yeah, like I said, there's some scripting to be done.
Yeah.
The most common use case that we see is that they move to presets, but you can take that extra step, but it requires a bit of configuration then, yeah.
Okay, then, yeah, Dima, we have a multilingual audience. So the free text search, does it support different languages? And in this case, specifically French, Arabic?
Oh, that's a good one. This question we need to take with us. I know for sure it supports English, and we will maybe answer as a follow-up.
So thanks
which
for the
other
question.
languages.
So thanks for the feedback. That is then something that Dima will come back to. So we will make sure that you also get that information.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at the time, we're already running out of time like we typically do. So the rest of the questions will be answered in the follow-up. So first of all, thank you again for watching and bearing with us today. It was great to have you here in our live stream. Before you go, do us the favor, letting us know what you felt of today's live stream, and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.